Good evening, this is Saigon John with the Daily Hoosier Daddy Sunday edition. Week 14 is now in the books. Let's see how our fantasy matchups finished. Starting with Ball Don't Lie versus Ringleader. Bill stuck to his 13 players for the week, while Scott had 17, minus Devin Harris, who missed all 3 games for the Nets this week with a wrist injury. In 4 road games, Gerald Wallace led all scorers in this matchup, tallying 109 points for Billy B. He also got 91 combined rebounds from Chris Bosh and Emeka Okafor. These were the only 2 categories Ringleader would win, taking rebounds by just 1. Scott takes the other 7 categories, but it wasn't very easy. He only won by less than 2% in both field goal and free throw percentages, had 5 more 3-pointers, and took blocks by just 1. The player of the week for Scott I figured to be Marc Gasol. He had an impressive line for him this week, and Ball Don't Lie wins convincingly in week 14, 7-2, splitting the season series with Ringleader this year. Jobbers versus Hitman for Hire. Adam had 18 players this week to Edwin's 14. Perhaps Jobbers look to free agency to catch up from Edwin's lead earlier in the week. There really was no way to compete in scoring. Edwin got another 45 points, it looks like tonight, from Kevin Durant of Oklahoma City. He did tie in block shots for the week with 23, but lost field goal percentage by just 0.3%. It didn't help when 3 of his stream players and Marcus Camby each of them shot below 17% for the week. So Edwin beats Adam 6-2. They split the season series as well. The convenience store supremacy matchup, 7-Eleven versus Plaid Pantry. Jonas never trailed this week and seemed to have clinched 6 or 7 wins for most of the week. I kept my 13 players intact, while Jonas had 14 guys since he was without Mo Williams all week to that shoulder injury. Didn't need him anyway. Looking at my opponent's scorecard, I think the player who did the most damage against me was Jonas's rookie, Stephen Curry. The combo guard for Golden State averaged 42 minutes in the 3 games, hitting 8 threes and delivering on a quick quadruple double for the week. So for a team stacked with bigs, I could only win in my 3 strong categories: field goal percentage, rebounds, and block shots. But I could only get within 33 points, 8 assists, and 5 steals. Now these are deficits I could have possibly made up had I been more attentive this week and not forgotten to set my lineup on at least 2 of the nights that I neglected. So Jonas beats my team 6-3 and gets the season sweep. Hoop Kings versus Taco Del Miramar. This was a very close matchup for all the week through, and Chris was leading after the last few nights, and for the week Chris kept his 13 players, while Rene had 14 minus the 4 games that Brandon Roy missed for the Portland Trailblazers. I felt Chris had a banner week from LaMarcus Aldridge and OJ Mayo, but by the end of the week, Rene's deep talent pool was just too much. Steve Nash and David Lee led the way, but Hoop Kings also got solid contributions from Trevor Ariza, Lamar Odom, and even Kevin Martin. So Chris's team looked promising to win, but tonight they got outshot by the Hoop Kings. Actually, no, they outshot the Hoop Kings. It looks like 49-39. It just wasn't enough, though, because you know what the difference was in field goal percentage this week for these 2 teams? Hoop Kings wins field goal percentage by just 0.7%. So Rene holds off Chris. Chris looked at that upset, but he just came up short, so Rene wins 5-4. The last matchup, Cobra Kai Never Dies versus Danielson, the matchup that would make the writers of the Karate Kid series proud. Well, Good Mike started out the week seemingly conceding publicly to his opponent, who frequently makes streams free agents in and out. Now, Edwin and Evil Mike had 23 players this week to back that up. So, Good Mike only had 15. He did keep things competitive and actually led, Good Mike did, after most nights of this week. But tonight, Cobra Kai got some efficient passing. It was 44-27 in assists tonight, and they win that category for the week by just 6. How much closer could this matchup have been? Well, the difference in turnovers was also 6, and Cobra Kai won free throws by just 0.5%. I look at these differences and I say Cobra Kai, they're going to miss Aaron Brooks, but more on that later. Edwin and Evil Mike triumph over Good Mike 5-4. Let's look at league leaders for week 14. Edwin and Mike led assists and 3-pointers made. Jonas also won 2 categories in free throw percentage and turnovers. Edwin won scoring, no surprise there, with 782 points. Good Mike won steals with 62. And I won 3 categories, the 3 strong categories I mentioned: field goal percentage, rebounds, and block shots. I'm not going to even think about nominating or campaigning, at least for GM of the week. I'm actually going to throw my nomination out to Jonas, who beat me. He has a pretty good squad. Moving on to week 15, here are the matchups, guys. Ringleader will face Hoop Kings. The last time these two met, Rene won 5-4. Danielson will meet Ball Don't Lie. When these two faced each other in week 6, Scott won 5-4. Cobra Kai Never Dies versus Team Chlamydia, Jonas's renamed team. They beat Cobra Kai last time 6-3. Taco Del Miramar versus Edwin's renamed team, I Eat Tacos Del Mar. Edwin actually beat Chris last time 6-3. And then the final matchup has Jobbers versus my renamed team, The Workers. Adam, kind of hard for me to say. Last time Adam and I met, he swept that series. So he won 9-0, the only time that's happened in our league history. So I'm looking forward to meeting his team this week. I'll promise to be a little bit more competitive. All right. So in league news, I want to mention the trade that I brought up a few nights ago. It actually went through today. So the deal between Evan and Mike, it was finally completed. I Eat Tacos Del Mar will now have the services of Aaron Brooks, Luis Scola, and Roy Hibbert, while the Cobra Kai will now have Tony Parker, Elton Brand, and Al Jefferson. Brandon Jefferson will provide the rebounds that teams seems to really need. Now onto the waiver wire to kick off week 15. Evil Mike dropped George Hill, Allen Iverson, and Rasheed Wallace, so the Cobra Kai will now have Darren Collison, Jared Bayless, and Rafer Alston. Rene dropped Ronnie Turioff, or is it Roni Turioff? I've heard both things, but I'm going to go with Ronnie since it's spelled that way. And he adds the Birdman, Chris Anderson. Adam dropped Aaron Aflalo and Roger Mason. No surprise, he only kept them for one day. And he added Jared Dudley and Vince Carter. Hopefully Carter can shoot at a higher percentage than he has been in recent weeks. Edwin is the last guy to make any move today from free agency. He drops tragic Goran Dragic for Miami's Quentin Richardson. There will be 7 games on the Monday night schedule. The Suns will have their second straight night on NBA TV as they travel to New Orleans to face the Hornets. That should be a good one. Steve Nash versus Chris Paul. And for now, that's a wrap-up for Week 14 in the Hoosier Daddy JV Fantasy Basketball League. And that's it here from the Bomb Shelter at Octane Infinity TV Studios. I've been your host, Saigon John the Bomb from Vietnam, and boom goes the dynamite.